I work for Downtown Community Television Center. We're a nonprofit organization that does media, and we do documentary. And all of our, the whole organization is actually free, especially for high school students. If you're a high school student in New York City, from the ages of 13 to 21, 24 really now, it's a free program. DCTV was founded in 1972 downtown in Lower Manhattan, in an old firehouse. And our whole mission the whole time was to make media accessible to the people.
You know what, can you, use the mic?
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we'll just
use the mic just because,
All right, you guys want to come over here?
unless you
But I'm going to show a quick video about the history of DCTV. Like I was saying, it was started in 1972 by John Keiko and John Alpert. And the whole mission behind DCTV was to make accessible media at very low cost or for free. And we do social political media where we try to get filmmakers, like we have young filmmakers here from our program, our youth program, Pro TV, to make films about their community or about themselves or about issues that they're concerned about within their community. So I'm going to show you a quick video of the history of DCTV, and then I'm going to show you the works of our young filmmakers, and they're going to introduce themselves. So I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, hi, my name is Jasmine. My name is Jasmine Barclay. I'm a graduate of Pro TV, which is the youth program at DCTV. Yeah, I graduated as a senior fellow, and I've done some amazing things since then, but hopefully we'll get to talk about it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Khadijah Charles. I'm going to, try to bring myself up a little more. I am a graduate of Pro TV as well. I graduated at the same time that Jasmine did. We did a lot of work together while we were there. And since then, I've also been doing a lot of community activism, trying to spread more work with the youth and media and engaging in their community. So I hope you guys can learn a little bit more about it once everything is shown and we can discuss it a little further.
Good morning, guys. I'm Richard, and I graduated in '07, and I made films.
Does anyone know anything about DCTV or Downtown Community Television Center? A little? Anyone? No one? Oh, this is good. So I'm going to show a quick video about the history of DCTV. Like I was saying, it started in 1972, and when John and Keiko started it, they started it out of a old mail truck, where they cut a hole out of the mail truck and put a TV monitor. And so they will go around the city showing their films out of this old mail truck. And they started off doing, community meetings. They made a piece about the taxi drivers trying to form a union. And so they believe once they started that how powerful media can be, especially if you put it in the hands of the people. So they started off doing that. And then in 1978, they started a youth program because New York City was going bankrupt at the time, and they decided to cut all arts out of the public schools. So John and Keiko decided that they were going to put media within the public schools, and they do it for free. We go to schools all over New York City to teach media, documentary filmmaking to high school students for free. And so that's how our program got started. Our youth program is one of the oldest in the country. It's 37 years old. And to provide, we see probably last year alone, we saw like 1,500 students alone. That's with classes, media literacy, and summer program and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you a quick history of DCTV to give you a sense of what we do at DCTV, okay? Yeah, we do try to show the ills of society and to give it back to the people. I mean, for being a small organization, we are on the tipping ground of all technology. One thing that's great about DCTV is that we're on the cusp of every new technology that comes out. We're the first organization that started to use the internet and Skyping to Skype with students from across the country, across the world, and to push what media can do and how media can help the community and how media needs to be accessible to all people, not just the rich and people who can afford it, but to everybody. And when you pass that on, you pass on knowledge, and you pass on, you pass on knowledge, you pass on, civil rights, everything, because people are being left behind. And when you're left behind with technology, things start to happen within communities, within society. So I think a lot of the films that we've made at DCTV is to open up the eyes of what's happening within not just in New York City and around the country, but around the world. Because now we're a global society. Do we work with any other news organizations? Well, majority of our films that we make at DCTV are for HBO, and we've made also for Discovery Channel. We also make our own independent where we sell them off or show them in the movie theaters. We've won over 31 Emmys. We've been nominated twice for Oscars. But yeah, John's worked for NBC, CNN, ESPN, but we mostly, when we work for those organizations, we still have control of our footage, our editing, our story. Not news, it's documentary, but it's journalistic. John comes from the background, our founder, John Alpert, comes from the background of being a journalist. He believes that he's a journalist first and foremost, then a filmmaker, where I believe in the opposite. We're filmmakers first, you know, because it's the same thing.
For example, I think he was the only person that could get into Cuba at one point in time.
Yeah.
He's the only one that could get into Cuba, so they all, like, a lot of news outlets was using his footage from Cuba.
And like he was the first journalist in Vietnam after Vietnam fell. So yeah, we come from that realm. We're very grassroots. We're very grassroots, you know, because we believe, you know, for the people. You know, that's why we make, at one time, like if you saw the video, at one time all of our services were free, even for adults. But now, you know, times have changed, but we have the lowest cost in the city. If you want to learn how to make films, you want to take classes on filmmaking. But if you're a high school student, it's free for any high school student in New York City. It's 100% free, and it's 4 years of free media training. And I think our training is as good as any college in the country.
One thing I will say, to piggyback off of that, is I think it's not built out, the type of media that we create or the type of media that our founder John Albert creates. It's not built out to be mass media, because it's really giving a voice to the underserved. It's giving a voice to people who aren't going to still the voiceless, for lack of a better term. For example, you see crackheads, you see Latin kings, you see dirty driving. He went out to like Nebraska, and they all they have is their cars, and you wouldn't see that in mass media. So it's not even. I feel like if all the news outlets went to Nebraska and showed these guys driving their cars, John Albert would purposely do something else, because it's really about giving that voice to the voiceless.
Anyone who's accessible for it, it's accessible. You just have to come knocking on the door. You walk through the door, you can come in. Like I said, right now, I run the youth program at DCTV, where we service 250 students in-house. That's not even outside, but in-house we service 250 students a year, where teenagers learn how to make media. They learn camera, editing, shooting, how to tell a story. And they take that information and they tell stories about their community. You know, they learn what they're social activists. They take the information they learn how to make media and give it back to the community. I will show you some films that, you know, where our students won Sundance, you know, and they were 15, 16 years old when they won Sundance Award. Some of our kids have gone on to be in film festivals, Tribeca, you know, film festivals in LA, Germany, you know, all over the world. In my boat, if you're in a public realm, in public domain area, you're allowed to film. Yeah. And with that person that you see, he gave John a right. You know, John made 3 movies on him because he was a crack addict, his recovery process, everything. And so he was getting arrested there, and he didn't want John to film it. But John kept filming it, you know, because he gave him the right to do it. But also John, the great thing about John is that he allows the person that he's making a film about, the character, to have sometimes final cut. And that's very rare for a filmmaker. Like John made a film a few years ago called Baghdad ER, where he records a soldier dying, and the parents saw it and they were like, you know, we know you have the rights to show it because our son gave you the right, but we asked you not to show it. And he cut it out of the film because he knew it was not important to show that. It's hard. It's a hard business to break into. But there are work out there, trust me.
There is work out there. I think,
you know,
LA is a different beast than New York. New York is very
independent.
It's very independent.
New York is more news-based. New York is more, you
In
know,
New York, you really
in
have
television.
you have to create your own work.
Yeah.
If you're trying to get into an industry in New York, it's not that easy. LA is way more industry based, so I feel like your granddaughter may get some work in a couple of, and
the great thing, the thing about the industry in the whole, the film industry, is that you work for free for a year maybe or two. Then you start. It's who you know, not what you know. That's why it's important that we get cameras and this technology into everyday people, so we can control it and not let the mass media control it.
I live in a city of over 8 million people. But just like those 8 million people come and go, that's exactly what people have done to me all my life. Sometimes I try to reach out to my mother, but she doesn't want anything to do with me. I don't know why I keep trying. My dad always told me that I was a wanted child, but I guess that was only on his part. It's disappointing, but I've learned to live without her. Dear Dad, I know that I have not been the best daughter to you for the past few years that you have been gone. Please understand that the past few years have been hard on me. I just find it easier to deal with you being gone by not keeping in contact with you. It's not that I don't think about you, because I do, every single day. It just saddens me to know that you're so far. Although these times have been tough, some good has also come out of you being gone. For one, I have learned how to be independent. I have this job now working making films. Filmmaking has become a love for me. I also have gotten into basketball, which has also become a love for me. I hope that you are not mad at me for not being there for you, but it's my way of dealing. So when you think of the effects of you being gone, don't think of them as being all bad, because they just simply aren't. Sincerely, your daughter, Jasmine.
See an opportunity, we'll call a timeout and we'll start switching to that. Okay, but we'll let you know before we switch into that.
All three of y'all, make sure every time a shot goes up, automatically put your hands up in the air when the shot goes up, no matter who shoots. If don't shoot. Okay?
Here we go, White, bring it up. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
I play basketball because basically it's a way to take out your stress. Like, you can do so many things in basketball that it won't land you in a bad place. Yeah, it's consequences, but it won't land you in a place where you wouldn't want to be, as if you take your anger out or your stress out on something else or somebody else. Not so good. We had it all the way up until the end, and I don't know what happened in the end. I guess nobody was feeling it today. Huh?
How did you play?
I don't think I played as well as I could. Today just wasn't my day. I have stress because of my living situation, my financial situation. I'm completely supporting myself financially. My father being incarcerated, that's been like basically the biggest strain on me so far. And yeah. Right now I live with my best friend because I was staying with a cousin of mine, and me and her had got into it, and she asked me to leave, so that was basically a last option for me.
I don't recall my childhood very much. I have no evidence that I ever was a child. Or perhaps I never was one. I'm just an example of a girl that had to grow up too fast. Since the age of 2, I have lived in 9 different homes. I just want to find the place that is mine, but not only mine, but one which is me. Waking up every morning not knowing whether I will go to sleep in the same bed is getting old. It seems like every time I turn around, I'm packing my bags again. Bags which no one ever helped me pack. No one ever thought to ask how I feel.
It's Queen Jasmine. Yes. Everybody knows Queen Jasmine. Nobody messes with Queen Jasmine, right?
I think part of the reason why I became interested in filmmaking is the friends, or should I say family, that I made at DCTV. Everyone loves me here, but more importantly, they help me to stay on track. Dear Dad, since we last spoke, I told you about all the good things I had done since you've been gone. I didn't exactly tell you the bad things. As you know, when you left, I was living with Grandma. Things went sour there, so I moved to Brooklyn to stay with Kitty. It worked out for a while, but then, again, things went sour. Currently, I'm staying with Alyana and her family. I appreciate the fact that they took me in when I had nowhere else to go. You will be very proud to know that I have successfully completed high school and am going to college. I will be attending Medgar Evers College in the fall. Despite everything, I have not allowed my dreams to be crushed. It's like that old saying goes, when life hands you lemons, make lemonade. Well, that's exactly what I have done. I hope this letter finds you in the best of health. Love you. Sincerely, your daughter, Jasmine.
Joy of a fulfilling work and loving relationships. And as you go into the world, look back sometimes and remember the friends you made here at China.
All of my teachers are telling me, never forget your high school days, because these will remain to be some of the funnest days of your life. Well, that's just it. I don't want to look back, and I don't want to remember. I'm ready to start a new chapter in my life.
See how you just disturb my high?
I was born a crack baby. It took them 6 months to wean me off of crack cocaine. My mother uses drugs, my father uses drugs, my uncle uses drugs. Sometimes I think maybe it's in my genes to use drugs. I was raised by my grandmother. We be in school And I remember, like, people would be like, yo, my mother just bought me this. My mother, you know, people used to talk about the things that their mothers did for them. Whereas me, I'm on the other hand, talking about the things my grandmother did for me. As far as I was concerned, my grandmother was my mother. It used to be me, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, Ebony, my two cousins. Cheryl would come over. And this is in a one-bedroom apartment, mind you. And we'd have dinner. I believe my mother started using drugs when my sister was around 4. Because her father, my sister's father, was a drug dealer. And I guess that, you know, in that lifestyle, you know, they were getting high on their own supply. And then when my sister's father left my mother, I guess she just went downward spiraling and started using even more. So you could say my sister's father got into using drugs. My whole world was shattered at the age of 8 because the person that I loved the most, my best friend, my grandmother, died. Because my great-grandmother was too old to care for me, I went to live with my cousin Cheryl. My relationship with my mother, wow. It was cool, turbulent at times. I don't know why, you know. I think she tried to be my mother. Sometimes I wasn't accepting of it. You know, like, you get into arguments and you say things you don't mean. And we had an argument and it made me question, you know, what is love? Do I love her? Love, I believe it is what your first feeling is, you know? What you identify as your first feeling. Usually towards your mother because that's the person you're closest to, or the person you have your first feelings for. So if that feeling is hate, and you identify with that with love, it's kind of confusing, isn't it? You know, and I was growing up in a teenager. I was already in my rebellious stage when she tried to step in, and I moved in with her. So that added to the fact that, you know, she wasn't there for such a long time as far as I was concerned. Then we both had the same type of character. She's very stubborn. I'm very stubborn. She likes to argue. I like to argue. We both went our way. When we were away in Jamaica for her birthday, you know, celebrating, you know, our first family vacation outside the United States, our second one that we've ever really had, me, my mother, Ebony, and Kassan, she gets sick. You look at certain families on TV when you're younger, like Family Matters, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, even Seventh Heaven, and you aspire to have what they have, the companionship, the love. Well, the show that I wanted my family to be like was The Cosby Show. And I think me and my mother were there. We were crossing the threshold of what I wanted, and she just up and got sick. Like, wow, why is this type of stuff happening? And I think I was angry. I probably still am. I had just gotten my goddamn mother back, and it seemed she was gonna leave again. You know, even if she went back to drugs, you know, she'd get her life back together again. You know, it's not like she'll be gone forever. You know, in those type of situations, you want to think idealistically that she'll be able to beat cancer.
You can't be calling 911 with that in your hand.
Richard, take that phone from her.
Can you please come to?
I was thinking that this needs to be shot. So if anything, my mother could be able to look back on it and see what she's doing to herself. I was trying to help my mother, you know, and I didn't know what the heck to do, you know. I know about it, but I never dealt with it like that head on. You know, Ma was running away, Ma tried to call the cops, tried to put us out the house. All that nonsense, you can't think straight. Who you gonna call? Hey, what's up, Cheryl?
Hi, this is Cheryl. Not able to answer the phone right now. Please leave a message.
I got the same type of problem. You know what the problem is? Every once in a while, fear takes control. See, when you know you're sick and you know that you're liable to die, you know you always feel there's something unfinished. You didn't finish. Oh, I should have did this. I didn't do it. Oh man, I should have been over here for Richard. Then you find yourself, you done spread yourself out so thin, you ain't accomplished nothing. And that's what was happening with your mother.
My feelings about my father changes all the time. You know, sometimes I hate him, sometimes he's okay. You know, he just let me down. You know, he left me hanging. I know when he comes back, he's gonna act like he's gonna start asking me questions like he's doing his job.
You allowing other people to dictate your behavior and certain mannerisms and certain things you do. They're not you. You know, like certain people are a certain way. So when you see them act out of character, you know someone else is affecting their thinking.
You know, they're like, you know, Richard, I don't know how you do it. You know, your mother had cancer, your father has AIDS or whatever, and both of them are crackheads. And I mean, you can't look at it all like that. They're people with problems. Everybody has a problem. Ebony woke me up, and she was real somber. She said, come to the hospital. I got to the hospital. Ebony just said she's gone. I didn't cry inside the hospital when I found out my mother died. I didn't cry at my mother's funeral. Some of us are crying, but at the end of the day, after you get finished crying, it's still there. The crying doesn't change anything.
What are you, Richard Meminger, scared?
Becoming the stereotype that they think that I am. Looking at my father and my mother and all the people around me, you think that I'm destined to become, maybe it's in my DNA to become the stereotype. They look at me and say, oh, he's gonna rob me. I don't want to become that thief. They look at me and say, oh, he's gonna beat me up. I don't want to become that person that does beat them up. So that's what I'm scared of, waking up one day and saying, I'm a goddamn crackhead. My mother was dependent on crack. My father was dependent on the streets. I was born dependent. It has taught me this. The only person I could be dependent on is myself. Dependent. Yeah. I like that.
I think a woman is personified by actually taking action and doing the things that are best for herself and for those around her. I think the minor difference between being a superwoman is when you think beyond just your immediacy, when you think beyond yourself and those who are closest to you, and you think worldly. My body has been giving me weird hints, and I've been like all out of fucking whack for a while now. So I'm like, I really hope that that's not the case, because if that is the case, then we have major problems. Because I can't have that being the case.
If and only if.
If and only if.
If and only if.
I hope that this if is a no. If this if is a not. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong with every fiber in my being. When I first found out I was pregnant, I had tons of fears, and I think a few of them were that I was afraid of what people would think and how people would look at me, knowing this news. And I was afraid that I would be alone, that I would be a single mother, that maybe my mom would abandon me or my parents would stop talking to me. And I was afraid that I wasn't ready. I consulted my boyfriend first to find out how he felt about it.
I kind of already knew what was going on. But I was also afraid because I kind of thought I was ruining your life. And I really didn't know how to feel about it.
My mom, she was definitely not with the idea of a baby.
I wanted to kill her. I wanted to kill her. I wanted to kill baby. I was like, you're not going to do this to me. There's no way I'm going to accept this nonsense. Because we're struggling.
When Khadijah became pregnant, I was really shocked. And like I didn't expect her to be like that at such, for what I call a young age. I was definitely shocked, but I didn't know what to think at first. I didn't know how should be upset. Should I be happy?
I thought Ezra was mad at me when he found out.
Mad.
Because he was mad.
I was, because I was confused. I didn't know what to feel.
Ezra was like my baby, my first baby. Because when he came home, I was just all over him. You know, he was mine. I feel like when he found out that he felt he was going to be replaced. He didn't really like that, you know, after being baby for so long. So he took it negatively. As you know, you treated me differently.
It did.
That caught me off guard. I wasn't sure how I should take that, but I know deep down and to me that was just my decision. There was no going back after that.
I feel like, you know darn well, in order for you to succeed, you had to recruit us without our knowledge, without our say-so, without our option, without our choice.
I really care about my mom. She means a lot to me. And at that point in time, I had to think about what I was doing and how the decision that I was about to make was going to affect me in the future, and her as well.
I'm too young and sexy to be a grandma. I'm going to braid my hair.
Why?
I'm going to add on an extra 60 pounds, get a cane.
For what?
Go on Social Security benefits, because now I'm a grandma.
Why don't you just be a sexy?
I'm being Uncle Ruckus. Uncle Ruckus found out he was black, and he was like, okay, where do black folks shop? I got to go buy me some sneakers. I got to quit all my jobs. So now I play my role, like Uncle Ruckus, right? I got to play my role. What really needed to be taken into consideration is not getting pregnant to begin with. Because in the year of 2011, 2012, I feel if somebody gets pregnant, they planned it. There's no way on earth that you can get pregnant without planning it. That's how I feel. I feel like what is an accidental pregnancy? What, really? Depo, condoms, pills, IUD. I mean, college students who really don't want to get pregnant never get pregnant. And if it slips, something happens, like, oh, they just take care of it because it wasn't part of their plan. Period. But you got attached like mad quick. Great. I mean, a child is great. A child is a blessing. But school, expenses, relationship between you and Kevin, where is that going? How's that going to be for her?
Since then, it's been kind of an evolution.
once she made her decision and she was firm on it, then it was like flipping a switch. I was like, okay, well, my job is done. I threw my tantrum like I'm supposed to. And, you know, I tried to get her on the right track. But decision made, case closed, move on.
We're having a girl.
Hey! Love you. I love you, Jim. I just got lucky. Now I just got to come up with a name. I have a whole list of them, and I'm going to pick one.
Going shopping for baby stuff is overwhelming. It's a lot of stuff that you need to get, and they're all so expensive. My mom makes it sound so easy. I think my mom, she wants to use this opportunity to be able to give her grandchild what she wasn't able to give her kids. So it's like the best of the best, and that requires money. I think she thinks I'm superwoman, and maybe I am superwoman. I mean, I do a lot of really superwomanly things, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm not a magician. Plus, it kind of helps her stay excited about the pregnancy instead of remorseful. So it helps her feel like she's gaining something rather than losing something. Because I know at first she felt like she's losing her daughter. But I feel like when I allow her to be so much of a part of it, she's gaining a grandchild, she's gaining a life, and it's a new journey and not a repression of an old journey. There's so many decisions. I've been taking care of other people all my life, and now I have somebody who isn't able to take care of themselves, who's personally dependent on me. And I haven't even had a chance to be personally dependent on myself.
My biggest fear is not being able to do my job as a father. You know, I never had a father role model or a father figure. You know, all I have is based on TV and maybe an uncle or two that I sometimes seen being a father. But again, my biggest fear is just being man enough to be the father that I never had for her.
Right now, there's so much going on between thinking about work and how that's gonna, you know, how the baby's gonna affect work, and thinking about school and just getting through the semester. Finals are coming up, and that's just, it's overwhelming. Baby's taking like a side seat, not a back seat, but like a side seat. So, especially baby preparation. I barely have enough time to sleep, let alone do a registry. I don't even have time to do my homework.
Don't let having a baby get in the way of your goals, so that, you know, one day you're not looking back working as a CNA, making minimum wage, trying to stay above ground. You're like, oh, it's not gonna be worth it. You're gonna regret your decisions. So just do whatever it takes to complete what your goals are, so that you don't have any regrets.
I don't want to be that statistic. I don't want people to think because I'm black and I look young that I can't do anything with my life. You know, I'm in college, I have dreams, I have goals, I'm actually achieving those goals, and I believe I'm doing a pretty good job. I had to look at myself and really deep at myself and say, you know, who are you? And even then, it was really hard, but I think throughout this entire time, throughout this pregnancy, I've begun to learn who I am based on how I've grown and what I've done. And I find it is really surprising how you can learn about yourself and about what you can do and your capabilities and your strengths when you make a decision. Not even when you act upon it, but when you make that decision, it speaks a lot about you. And I think that was the answer to my question about who I was.